What did you do to IG-11?
Oh, no, that's IG-12 now. Do you like him?
Do I like him?
Don't worry, he's safe.
You're sure?
Well, the Anzellan stripped IG down to his base motor functions. They removed his memory circuit. The pilot provides cognition.
Yes.
Think of it this way. It's more like a vehicle. It's safer that way.
Bad baby. No, it's crazy.
Well, he's too little to operate this.
No. But let's see if he fits.
Welcome, Masters and Padawans, to episode 617 of Full of Sith. It's me, Bryan Young, host of the show, with the ever redoubtable Holly Frey.
I like how you're not sure if you're a host of the show.
You know, it feels like, maybe who knows these days. Everything's topsy-turvy. Maybe, someone could have invaded the show and renditioned me somewhere else, and I'm not the host of the show anymore. Who knows?
We've had a show coup.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing in this world surprises me anymore.
I mean, we did have another Bryan last week since you were under the weather, but...
Yeah. So... See?
I just sub out Bryans when it works out just fine.
No know enough Bryans, you could do that for a year.
I probably could. I don't know why all the Bryans gravitated to my life, but here we are.
It gets confusing sometimes.
If you're a Bryan or a Ryan, sign up because you're in my world.
Yeah. But no, this is our first episode of 2026. And
Happy New Year.
Yeah, no, happy. Sure. Yeah. No, yes. Happy New Year. I've been watching a lot of Star Wars lately, which I think is always a good way to ring in the new year.
It is indeed.
Kingston and I did The Last Jedi, so the Holdo maneuver happened when the ball dropped in New York City.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I really love that. And then immediately we went to Return of the Jedi. So, ended 2025 with Last Jedi and kicked off 2026 with Return of the Jedi. And then last night, he and I went to the Utah Symphony to watch the symphony do an accompaniment to Empire Strikes Back.
That sounds heavenly.
It was really great. So we've just been doing lots of Star Wars. So 2026 has already been full of Star Wars, and I've been enjoying it.
Very Star Warsy.
But
I've just been playing with droids over here. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's that's a totally valid thing to do. But we were talking about how for this episode, maybe we should take a look ahead at what to expect in 2026 this year as far as Star Wars is concerned, and what we're hoping for and what we think we're going to get for some things. And I definitely have some questions for you because I know that there are things that you are more tapped into than I am. Well, I mean, it's park stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think the big thing that I think everybody knows is coming in 2026 is May 22nd, we have The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen Star Wars on a big screen in quite a while. We finally have a teaser for it. It's interesting. I'm actually kind of surprised how little marketing there's been for it.
Yeah, I mean, I am wondering. I feel like the advertising game for films has really shifted anyway. And as we all know, it's been kind of talked to death. The film industry is going through a big, like, how exactly does this work now? Moment in terms of all of their stuff, because streaming has really changed how it is. Companies like Netflix now own major film studios. Everything has kind of shifted. And I do think there's a lot of rethinking in, like, when do we really start dropping promotion? When do we, start actively really doing things like trailers and whatnot? But what is interesting to me is that, as you said, we haven't gotten a lot of Mandalorian and Grogu stuff, but we have gotten Starfighter stuff. I mean, I know it's behind the scenes, but I feel
Yeah.
like it has been more in the zeitgeist of, like, things being released or like hints being dropped than this movie that is out in just a few months.
Well, I think there's two reasons for that. Um, One, I think Sean Levy as a director is more upfront about that stuff than Jon Favreau is.
Agreed.
I think, I mean, Jon Favreau is the director who kept Grogu under wraps until the release of the Mandalorian series, right? Like, Jon Favreau is capable of a level of secrecy that most directors are not.
Right, and of keeping everyone involved in the production on that same page, which is astonishing.
Yeah. And I mean, Jon Favreau, part of the reason that he was able to keep Grogu specifically under wraps is that they were willing to, and Lucasfilm backed his decision to keep Grogu specifically out of licensing for that
Yeah.
first batch beforehand. Because I mean, licensing will blow everything.
Oh yeah.
And um they were like, I mean, they knew Grogu was going to make them $1 trillion in merchandise, and he has. I think ultimately it didn't cost them any money,
Mm-mm.
but you could see I mean, I could see the worried looks on executives' faces when they're like, we're not going to hand this adorable creature to licensing until after it's revealed because they're going to spoil it and then go, but this is our window. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
now, there's no problem. They've made their money back on Grogu. Grogu merch alone has probably paid all the production costs on Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, easily.
But I think the other thing is that Sean Levy has been in the news because of all of the Stranger Things stuff in the last year.
That's a good point also. And
Um,
he's
yeah.
been really, really good, I mean, to my mind. And I will say this, I haven't watched the new Stranger Things yet. Not because I'm not interested. It's been a wild, my holiday break was not very breakful. So, um, but he has been very good about, in interviews when people ask him about Star Wars, he will talk about Star Wars. He's not being, you know, he's not giving a lot up, but he's also not being like cagey and being like, "Oh, I can't talk about that." He's just like, "Well, you'll see." And he'll share what he can, which I kind of like. It feels a little more casual, and thus, the reaction to it feels a little less rabid to me, which is kind of a nice even keel space.
So I think those are the two big reasons why Starfighters has been more upfront.
Yeah.
He's not opposed to sharing more behind the scenes stuff personally, and I think that is more of a producer director decision than it is like a Disney decision, right? And Sean,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because he mentioned it at one point that he in that interview that he did with Kevin, why am I blanking on his last name? I think he mentioned, and I'm pulling this from memory, so I could be wrong, that he posted that one picture that he shared without asking and then realized like, uh-oh, I should have actually asked first. But so I don't know how much of a say, the bigger
well,
corporate structure has, but he certainly is kind of sharing stuff when he wants
I
to.
I do think though that like the overall strategy is something that they get pulled into and say, how do you feel about this? Or if he were to say like, I'd like to keep these things under wraps, the corporate strategy would take that into account. You know what I mean?
I would hope, yeah.
And well, I mean, because I think Favreau and Filoni got that, and especially with Filoni as the chief creative officer now, that's part of it. But yeah, Mando and Grogu, we don't know a whole lot about, and I think
No.
that's going to be wrapping up. Like that's going to be ramping up soon. As far as what we do know that Sigourney Weaver is playing Colonel Ward, and she's going to be some sort of rebellion liaison for the Mando and Grogu. Gara Zebarelios is in it, and Steve Bloom is returning to that role. Uh, we know Jeremy Allen White is playing Rhoda the Hutt, who is Jabba the Hutt's son, and that he was surprised by how much more prominent his character is in the movie than he initially expected.
Yeah.
Um, and that's I mean that's kind of close to it. We know that there's Nzellans in the movie that I'm very excited about. We know the twins from the Book of Boba Fett series are on the poster.
Which truthfully is all I need to
Just them on the poster. You don't even need
I
them in the
just I
movie.
no, I just need them in the movie. I don't need to know details about it. I just need to know that the twins will be there and I'm gonna be happy as a little clam.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting to find out how they figure large, more prominently in the universe.
Yeah, it's gonna
Um,
be spectacular.
it's funny to see how much Dave Filoni has brought in more and more actors from Aliens, him and Favreau,
Yeah.
because we've had so many actors from Aliens coming in more and more into the Mando, like the Mando verse, like this era. Like I loved that Drake was the captain that like uh opened the Ahsoka series, and we had Michael Biehn in it, and he was there in Ahsoka's episode
Yeah.
of that. Now we've got Sigourney Weaver, and it just seems like the further we go into it, we're just gonna get more actors from Aliens.
Fine
Um,
by me.
yeah, no, which is great. Like that whole cast, even the supporting characters. Like, at what point is Paul Reiser coming into Star Wars?
Oh, I would be very happy.
Yeah, no, he'd be great. He's always a great a, a great character actor. I'd love to see him as some sort of rebel bureaucrat or even an imperial. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I'm really excited for Sigourney Weaver to be in Star Wars. There was a really great picture of Sigourney Weaver meeting Mark Hamill, and they were both just fanning out over each other, and were sort of disappointed that their paths had crossed when one was leaving Star Wars and the other was just getting in, because they were both two of the biggest sci-fi stars at the same time back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Um, and now Star Wars is a thing for them. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. So Mando and Grogu is a big thing. And I mean, and it's funny, that's about all we know about it. We know that it's going to be um uh they shot it so that it's going to be mastered for IMAX. Which is something that isn't new for Star Wars. I know Attack of the Clones had a special IMAX cut, which is actually kind of interesting that they had to trim it down actually so that it could fit on the IMAX reels at the time, because back then you couldn't
Yeah.
do digital IMAX, right? Like Avatar Fire and Ash couldn't, like back, 20 years ago, you couldn't have an Avatar Fire and Ash running time on IMAX. It had to be 2 hours, credits included, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it couldn't fit on the platters. And so they had to chop just a few minutes out of Attack of the Clones in order to do it on IMAX, which, to be honest, is literally the only reason I never saw it on IMAX, is because I just didn't want to go without anything. Seriously, like now I'll go see it in every format I can just to see the differences, but when I heard that Attack of the Clones was missing footage because they couldn't fit it on the platters, I was like, I don't need to see it in that format. It's not that big of a deal for me. I'd rather see the whole movie if I'm paying that much extra for it.
Yeah, I love the immersion level of IMAX, so I'm always willing. But now, I mean, that you know, things are digital, less of a concern.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, I always sit really close to the front anyway because I love that immersion. And if you're sitting in the third row, you're kind of getting that wherever you go anyway.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
doesn't work for
IMAX is
me.
IMAX is fine. I like IMAX. But like if I had to go IMAX or cutting 3 minutes out of Attack of the Clones, like I'm gonna go with just a regular theater and not cut the footage out.
Well, I mean, it's not like you would only be able to see it in IMAX, right?
Yeah.
That's always my take is that I'll just go see it in all the formats. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I wasn't willing to miss anything.
I feel you.
Even for that one screening.
I feel you.
I couldn't imagine Attack of the Clones missing a single frame.
The heart wants what it wants.
Yeah, it does. Um, oh man. Speaking of when I went to see Empire Strikes Back last night, Kingston actually dressed as Han Solo.
Adorable.
And we're coming up to the intermission, right? The intermission happens right after Luke's vision in the domain of evil. And Han comes up and he's doing his thing with the kiss, right? The you like me because I'm a scoundrel. And
Uh-huh.
Kingston leans over to me and he goes, I never noticed it, but Han's kind of an idiot. Why did she marry him? And I'm like, you know, I can't argue with your assessment here.
We've all been trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very charming idiot,
Yeah,
right?
he is.
He's a fascinating combo in that regard. This is not what this episode is about, but
No, yeah.
Han Solo is a ding dong in a lot of ways, but he also, in addition to being charming, he does have a lot of street smarts and he has a certain wisdom about him that is appealing. He's
Yeah.
just really bad at interpersonal communication.
It was just funny as we were leaving the symphony hall too. He was just like, I really think if they hadn't have been siblings, Leia really would have ended up with Luke. I'm like, I can't argue with that. I can't. I'm not even going to. Um, but anyway, so Mando and Grogu is probably the biggest thing next year. And this kind of leads into the park stuff because as a tie-in to Mando and Grogu, we're getting the
Smuggler's Run is going to get an
Smuggler's Run
update.
update. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Smuggler's Run, that's a big deal, right? Smuggler's Run hasn't changed since it opened in 2019.
19. Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see how they do that with all the theming. But also I read, and this is where I think you might know some more about it, but I heard that Rise of the Resistance is signed up for some pretty significant downtime this year for refurbishment or repairs.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to remember. I'm looking it up because I don't remember the exact down dates they've released.
Which is interesting because this is a pretty big year for Star Wars.
It is.
But next year's probably
Um,
bigger.
well, I mean, part of it, right, is that there have been a number of like just physical mechanical problems going on with Rise for a while. And so I think some of the outage is just like there is no way to keep it going without risking some pretty hard to fix issues arising. Um, I don't know if you remember, was it last May the 4th? I know on the May the 4th, the last May the 4th that the Halcyon was running, May the 4th was your port day. I wasn't on that cruise, but I was in the park that day. And Rise was down most of the day. And for people who may or may not recall, when you were on the Halcyon, like hitting the attractions tied into the story that you were into, and like
Yeah.
it was catastrophic for it to be down that day. And it turned out that it had had a pretty significant mechanical issue of a part that was not ever expected to break that broke. And so they could, even once they got it up, they could only run one of the platters. Like basically there are two instances of the attraction going at all times, or not at all times, but they can be going at the same time, and they couldn't have both of them running at the same time because of this issue. And so like that was a big problem. And then I know that's happened a number of other times. And there's just a lot of other little things that have kind of gotten squirrely. And when I say that, I don't want anybody to think that I am bad mouthing it, because it still is one of the most ambitious attractions that's ever been built.
Yeah.
There are so many different ride mechanisms. There are so many different ride phases, that you have to go through, that it does make sense it would need some refurbishment sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, I don't think any of that refurbishment is going towards new story to it. I think it really is
Yeah,
just a
it's
matter
just
of
a
like
maintenance thing.
we gotta fix these problems. And like I said, I don't think it's purposefully like a thing where they're like, this is the best time to do it. I just think they've hit the wall in terms of like, we can't put this off any longer.
Yeah. And like I said, I think 2027 might be an even bigger year for Star Wars than this year.
Right.
Being that it's the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
And
What? How can that be?
not only is it the
That
50th
means I'm a
anniversary,
hag, Brian.
I never said that.
Uh, yeah,
But
but
you've
that
been saying
is,
that for years. I don't know what the year has anything to do with
I
it.
know, that is starting soon though. That's starting at the end of January. Um,
When does it
so
go till? Do they have a an expected end date?
I'm not sure. It begins in January, January 20th, and it does not have a finished change date. Um I know too, I think they're trying to get the guns fixed finally.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
That's been a problem. And I think that Anaheim's actually have been operational again.
Yeah, I've
So they
heard
have
that
figured out what
actually.
they have to do. And I think they just want to make sure that the fix they're putting in place is a long-term fix and not something that's going to be like, hooray, it's back. And then 2 months later be like, whoops. Um, we don't want it to be the Yeti part two, right? For anybody that's into Expedition Everest, the Yeti has problems. So yeah, I think I'm hoping that that's one of the things that's going to get more or less permanently fixed.
Yeah.
Many things, but that's fine because I'll be whipping around on Smuggler's Run over and over.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what those changes are and how they've changed the engineer position because they've said that they've
Yeah,
made it more interactive.
which is kind of funny because I mean, I might be a clown here, but I love the engineer position.
Well, there's not much expected of you if you're the
I'm like,
engineer.
I love to fix things. I like the putter of it. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, no, I've been on it a lot with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who are just like, the engineer, I'm stuck with the engineer again. And I'm sure they get that a lot. And there's probably like a need, like if there's people who go on and go like, please not the engineer enough,
yeah,
they probably feel like there's a need to address it.
yeah. Also, it'll just be fun
Yeah.
to have new stuff.
S-
Um,
So the next big thing is it seems like we've got Ahsoka season 2,
yeah.
which sounds like it's the only live action series coming.
Lost balls, lost balls, lost balls.
um and we really don't know. Again, this is Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau production, sort of keeping tight wraps on everything. Um, we don't really know much about what's going on other than Dave Filoni kind of produced his Ralph McQuarrie style trailer, his Empire Strikes Back trailer, where we've got this all out war with Admiral Akbar coming back, facing off against Grand Admiral Thrawn. We know Hayden Christensen's back. Um, you know, we know Rory McCann is replacing,
Yeah,
is coming to step in as Baylan Skoll.
yeah,
And we know Sabine and Ahsoka are still trapped on Paradia with Shin and Baylan. And yeah, that's sort of where we're at. Um, I don't think we know how many episodes it is for sure. We don't know for sure what the release schedule is or when it's going to come out. It's probably going to come out at the most inopportune time for all of us.
yeah, probably.
It's like whenever our schedule for travel is going to be the heaviest is exactly when it's going to come out.
Yeah, those are the rules.
Yeah. But I'm really excited about this too. They've released some photos of Ezra with, without the beard.
Yeah,
Um, and he looks like Ezra. Like it's just like that's the best thing I can say about um uh I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Emin Esfandi,
I think it's Amon.
Iman Esfandi.
I think I could be wrong.
Um, he just looks like Ezra. Like
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he just looks like Ezra. He's the perfect grown Ezra. Um, and it sounds like we've got Zeb back.
yeah. Hooray for Zeb.
So this is going to be a very good year for Steve Bloom and Zeb.
Yes. Yeah, Zeb's gonna be everywhere, which will be great.
Yeah.
Um, we'll get more Zeb merch. You can't see, but I'm making an excited face. Um, yeah, yeah. I am excited. I'm gonna say it again. Loft balls. I'm very excited for the kittens. I want a kitten tattoo, and I've been tempted to go ahead and get one, but I want to wait and see
How much
if
you're in love with it first.
oh, I know I'm going to be in love with it, but I don't want to shortchange myself of the cutest possible thing that I don't know that they can do or like expression they can make yet.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I want to make sure I'm optimized to add to my collection of Star Wars kitties. But I'm also really curious, right? We left theoretically the weird sisters behind. Are we getting more of them? Because that's the other thing I'm obsessed with in Ahsoka.
I thought that they had come. It was just Morgan Elsbeth they left behind.
I'm trying to remember. But I remember being concerned of like, wait, are they coming back? And I don't know.
Well, I
And
know they're going to be
I
on the
hope.
show because one of the actresses was like, "Hey, I can't do it," because they wanted her to go to London and she was like, "I need a pay bump for childcare," and they're like, "We
Oh,
can't
that's
do it."
right. Claudia Black. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Um,
so however, whether they stayed or went from Paradia, they're
they're in there
planning on having
somewhere.
they're planning on having them on the show, yeah.
Fingers crossed that it works and is cool because I love them. I love them. I love their whole jam. I love their look. I love their clothes. I love their weird, slightly Shakespearean situation. I love everything about it.
And if they're heading back to Dathomir with Thrawn, like I don't even know like what does that portend for the galaxy and how is that going? Like, I don't know. Like, if this is, I'm really fascinated to see where this goes and to see how directly it leads to Filoni's New Republic live action movie.
Yeah.
Like, is that where this is leading? Is this leading up to that directly, or is Filoni's live action New Republic movie something that is tangential to all of this?
We don't
Right?
know. It's all
Yeah,
speculative at this point.
exactly. Like, is all of this culminating to end and cap off this era of Star Wars that him and Favreau have built, or is it something where he's just going to make a cool one-off? Like, who knows?
Dave knows.
Well, yeah, he
Production people
does.
know.
Yeah.
But that's it. But that's it. Um, yeah, I'm eager for it. I will be really curious how all of that turns out. I just want to see more fun clothes. That's really all I'm there for. Not really, but it's part of it. And then we
Uh,
have animation.
yeah, on the animation front, I think the biggest one, or the one I'm most excited for, because I think, well, I'm excited for both of them, but um Maul Shadow Lord is coming out. We don't know when. We don't know if it's sooner in the year, middle of the year, later in the year. But Maul Shadow Lord takes place in the wake of Order 66 and Maul building or rebuilding, I guess, his criminal empire. Um, that's about all we know. We do know from the trailer that we both saw in at Celebration Japan, um, that he's taking an apprentice, who was a young red-skinned Twi'lek who looked a lot like they could be heading in that direction of the Darth Talon
Yeah, sure
uh,
did.
area, which is a character George Lucas really liked, and that was sort of like a place he was planning on taking things. Um, that he was really into. Um, and the look of this looks like they took Clone Wars and ran it through a Scorsese like 70s crime movie filter.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I don't know why that's funny, but it's true. Um,
Because it's an animated show and that's a unique scenario. It's a unique invocation to make, but it's accurate.
no, I mean it's got the grain, it's got the film like dirt and tears to it. And I
Yeah.
don't know if this was an affectation just for the trailer or if this is what the animation looks like, but it does look like every time Joel Aaron, who's the visual effects supervisor for the animation at Lucasfilm, and Filoni and like that whole team of animators, every time they get to take a bite at this apple of the Clone Wars style animation and get to take it a step forward, whether it was like seasons of Clone Wars or whether it was the Bad Batch, it seems like they get to take it and make it like one step better. And it seems like now they're like, okay, we've done as great as we can with this. What can we do to make it look more authentic? And since this is this criminal underworld who does crime in the streets of a big city better than Martin Scorsese, let's just make this look like a Scorsese picture.
Yeah, fine by me.
Yeah, no. So like we've got Darth Maul's Goodfellas, but with that mean streets look. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
old gritty mean streets look, like it's almost like 16 millimeter almost. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. We got to see it once in Japan almost a year ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, in what felt like a fever dream.
yeah. So maybe I'm just romanticizing it in my head, but that's how I remember it.
There
Um,
was so much going on in that animation panel. I feel like I barely remember anything.
yeah. Well,
It
that
was a
was
lot.
that was sort of imprinted on my brain because I was just like Scorsese Star Wars. Um, but we don't know much about it other than what we saw. Then the other one is Star Wars Visions: The Ninth Jedi,
Yeah.
which is the first sort of Star Wars Vision series that is getting the series treatment. We've had 2 episodes of it so far, and they're two of the best episodes of Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
Um, Interestingly enough, it seems as though there have been some reports, and I haven't known where to look, and I'll actually look now, but like that they've opened up the Star Wars um like the eras um or the timeline. No, that's not, I'm not seeing it on the website. Um Someone had said somewhere that they saw somewhere in an official capacity that they added at the end of the timeline the Ninth Jedi as part of the official timeline
Oh.
of the Star Wars eras, but I'm not seeing that on the website. So that might have been somebody talking out of the side of their mouth, which, and I don't see how that would be possible either. Um, but they've got a pretty detailed um list of all the shows and all of the canon stuff that is actually canon, that's coming out and is out. Um, and it's not there. So maybe um, I can look something else up. But oh, Disney Plus did it. Um,
Uh-huh.
hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem as though like all of these articles that are like, oh, this is canon and it's set 1,000 years after Rise of Skywalker. Like nothing says that it's canon. It just seems like um, they're putting it um, they're putting it in the timeline. Yeah, no, I don't, I don't see that that's the case. But anyway, I'm excited for it to come out this year, um, and watch it because I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not on the Star Wars in timeline order on Disney Plus either. So whatever they're talking about,
It's a
those
mystery.
yeah, those articles were wrong.
I mean, just to play benefit of the doubt, it's possible that somebody may have done that on like the back end, and then it came to light and everybody picked it up and they went, "Oh, that's not supposed to be that way." I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible it got changed. Um, but it's not there now.
Yeah. Another thing that I would expect, although there's been no announcement or word about it, but it always seems to come out just a couple of weeks or maybe a month beforehand, would be another Tales of series.
Yeah.
Um, we seem to be getting them for May the 4th, generally. We've had Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, and Tales of the Underworld for May the 4th. Um, I don't know what we would get for this year, but if you had to pick two characters that weren't Greedo, what two characters do you think we might get if
Are
would you
you
want
saying
to get?
which right? Are you saying which characters we might get or which characters I want?
Well, maybe both, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I want Cabe and Wani, not together, but those are the two I'd be most interested in. I would really, really love for there to be, whether it's an animated series or something else, like some backstory of Wani, Gaia, and Wraith Cole.
Hmm.
Particularly Gaia and Wraith, because they've been together since Gaia was like a kid, for like a long time. So I just think there's something interesting there. And of course I want all the Rhodians, everything. And of course I want all the Cantina, everything. I mean, I would just love a Cantina one that's kind of like some of the stuff that's told in from a certain point of view, but different stories, because a place like that is so full of stories. That it would be really delightful. What do I think they're actually gonna do? Hmm.
If they even are.
Right. What do I think they'd be likely to do, I guess is the better way to put it. That's a good question.
I could do with my wants first.
Yeah, go ahead with once.
So Jar Jar.
Oh yeah, of course.
I would really love to see some Jar Jar episodes because I think this would be the perfect place for Filoni to just stretch his wings and just do some fun comedy stuff. It doesn't have to be universe shattering revelations. Like he could do something fun with Jar Jar or something heartbreaking, right? And really show people like Jar Jar could be used as a vehicle to tell all kinds of different stories.
Yeah.
So Jar Jar is definitely one I'm always interested in seeing stories about. Um, and Filoni is really good at that kind of stuff. Another character I'd really be interested in seeing other stories about that I want is I would really love to see him take on because one of the features of this show is kind of showing us stories in eras of characters that we've seen that we haven't really seen a ton of. I'd love to see Filoni take on like Anakin and Obi-Wan when Anakin's way younger.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Um,
Sorry.
but as far as what I think he might do, there's two things I think personally that would be really interesting for him to do that I think that he would because he wants to stake that off for himself, and this would be a good place to do it. One of them's Baylan Skoll,
Yeah.
and the other one is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan during the whole Dathomir thing.
Oh
Not
yeah.
Dathomir, the Mandalorian thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are the two I think are probably on his list somewhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm on the struggle bus trying to come up with other things that I would think of. I had thought about Balin. Um, I mean, I don't know if it would be interesting to anybody but me. It would be, but how fun would it be to see?
Foden Bede, really fun.
So fun. No, I was gonna say Ezra kind of figuring out how to survive.
Oh, super
Uh,
fun with the Noti.
yeah. I mean, it has kind of all the great elements, right? Because the Noti are they lend themselves so much to like that, Studio Ghibli style that Filoni likes to play with. It
That
would
would
also just be
be,
really sweet and fun,
I mean,
and it
like
gives people more Ezra.
if you're thinking about how Filoni would do that as a trilogy, like the earliest episode would probably be his earliest days on the streets on Lothal, which
Oh
would be kind of
yeah.
heartbreaking. And then you'd get his earliest days on the street, like not on the streets, but like his earliest days of survival, like how he escapes from Thrawn. And then the last episode would be building a life with the Noti.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's gonna be there's the potential there for there to be callbacks from when he is first
Yeah.
surviving after the hurdle through space and escaping Thrawn that will reverberate back into like his life when he was first like a street urchin essentially.
Yeah.
Um, because
And
there's
and
some similar
probably
survival skills probably needed.
and probably the kindness of people around him that he needed to survive on the street probably would
Yeah.
echo with the Noti as well. Yeah, no, that would be hell, it writes itself.
There you go. We're done.
Yeah. Video games, I know we've talked about this pretty recently. We've got Zero Company coming out,
Yeah.
which is the tactical um game, which we still don't know all that much about. And we've got Galactic Racer, which we talked about. I think we talked about that. I think the last time we did a show together,
We did.
both of those. Um, Big books, we've got Eyes Like Stars, which is the romance genre,
Sure.
um, which will be interesting, and it takes place before Force Awakens. We've got the Star Wars book with Leia training Rey,
Yeah.
which is Star Wars Legacy, which is written by Madeline Rue, um, which is interesting because supposedly the book has them going to Tython.
Huh.
Um, and the Supreme Leader's also in the book. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Um, we're also looking at the next book in the Reign of the Empire trilogy, which got kicked off last year by Alexander Freed with Mask of Fear, which was the book that featured Bail Organa, Saw Gerrera, and Mon Mothma that sort of had these ties into Andor, but also like it kind of really happened right immediately after the events of Order 66 and the creation of the Empire. This one's written by Rebecca Roanhorse, who did that really terrific book that reintroduced Wedge Antilles into
Yeah.
the sequel era. And this happens a little bit later than the first novel. So, and that's about all we know about it. It's called Edge of the Abyss. And then we've got Low Red Moon from Mike Chen, which comes out next month. I've already started reading it. It's really interesting. If you liked the game, you're going to like the book. And it really gets deep into the relationship between Jalen and his brother. Um, So if you've played the game, you know what that means. You have not gotten deep enough into the game to know what that means, I'm sure.
Nope.
Um,
Nope. Excuse me. I don't know what magical piece of fluff has gotten in my throat, but
um, but yeah, so uh that's the those are some of the big books we know coming out. And then I think probably the other biggest thing is probably um the Lucas Museum.
yes, which I am so excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a museum nerd to begin with, so it's right up my alley.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very excited because I'm also a museum nerd and I'm actually I know George Lucas. It's funny because he's like, yeah, there's going to be some Star Wars crap in it too, because he knows what people want and they expect with his name on it.
Right.
But that's not actually the stuff I'm excited to see in the museum. Like,
Oh
I'm
no, I'm there
excited to
for the
see the
whole
stuff.
shebang.
Yeah. Like, I've been to enough Star Wars exhibits and Star Wars museums to like yes, there's a wow factor there. It's interesting. It's cool to see the Star Wars stuff, but like he has the world's largest collection of Norman Rockwell paintings.
Yeah.
Like he has like just going to Lucasfilm at the Presidio or Big Rock Ranch or Skywalker Ranch and like seeing his collection of classic foreign movie posters is
Yeah.
awe-inspiring. The behind the scenes stuff from all the movies that Lucasfilm has worked on is amazing. And then like knowing that there's a museum curator that's curating stuff for narrative art, like comic books and artists and pop artists and just narrative art in general there's going to be stuff that I know is that I don't even know exists that I'm going to go in there and it's going to take my breath away.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And that's what I'm most looking forward to. Like, I know I'm going to be wowed by the Star Wars stuff, and I know there's going to be a bunch of it, and it's going to be cool. But, like, I don't want to sound jaded or anything, but it feels like that's just a Tuesday for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely hoping that there will be some surprises in the mix on the Star
Yeah.
Wars end, but that's certainly not the only thing I'm excited to see. I mean, like I said, I'm a museum dork. I will wander around in there. I will literally book days in there if they'll let me. Um, and just, explore and see what they have because I love nothing more than getting lost in a museum and finding new things that I didn't know existed.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised they were putting any Star Wars stuff in there.
Yeah.
When, well, because I mean, just knowing, having been to the Presidio
Yeah.
and seeing just the breadth of his collection of just stuff that has nothing to do with Star Wars, and knowing that part of the impetus of the museum was to find a place for him to put it that the public could appreciate it. And knowing that all the Star Wars stuff had an archive, right? Like there was a place for it. Um, I didn't think the Museum of Narrative Art was going to um really, like, if there was going to be Star Wars stuff, it was going to be stuff that didn't necessarily fit at Lucasfilm or whatever. Things like, I know he owns the Mad Magazine original art from the covers or some of the pages that they did of the Star Wars parodies, right?
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that I thought we might see in the Lucasfilm Museum of Narrative Art that might have a Star Wars connection, which is stuff I want to see. Those, like Al Jaffe and Mort Drucker, like those artists are amazing, and their art isn't the kind of stuff you normally get to see in museums. And
No,
that's
it isn't.
exactly the kind of stuff George Lucas is trying to shine a light on with this museum.
Yeah, but I think too probably there's a level of savvy involved of if you don't have Star Wars stuff, you're losing out on a large opportunity in terms of attendance.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And so that's why it's like it is surprising on some level, but it's not surprising on most levels.
Yeah.
Um, but because, like, I mean, I figured it would be represented somehow, but I thought it would be in a more oblique way. Which is fine. I'm gonna go look at the Star Wars stuff. Like, don't think I'm just gonna skip it because I'm like, I want to look at this other stuff. Like, I want to see plenty of stuff. Um, but I don't know, like George Lucas has a hell of a collection, and I'm really excited to get to explore it in a way. Um, I'm I'd be surprised. I don't know. Did you go to at the last celebration, did you make it to the Academy Museum?
I'm trying to remember.
Because they had this Miyazaki exhibit that was just amazing while the last celebration in Los Angeles was going on, or Anaheim.
Oh, that's why I was like, did they have an outpost in Japan? What are you
No, no,
talking
no, no, no,
about?
no, no. The last celebration in Anaheim.
Gotcha. You
Um,
you just said the last celebration, and I was like, I'm really trying to think
um,
about this because I know I've
no,
seen
no,
stuff
no.
from the Academy Museum. Um, and it's that thing of like, did I see it in Japan this year? I mean, I have been to the Academy Museum a number of
Did you
times.
get to see the Miyazaki exhibit while it was there?
Yes.
And just like that's the kind of stuff I would like, because I know he collected a lot of Japanese animation art and stuff, like that kind of stuff I would really love to see there. But that exhibit at the Academy Museum was incredible. And
Yeah.
I would expect that kind of stuff would show up in the narrative art
Probably.
museum. Yeah,
Probably. We'll see.
I'm excited for it.
Me too.
And I do like even if there wasn't any Star Wars stuff there, I would count the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art as a Star Wars thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it's Star Wars adjacent enough to for me to say like I think we'd be talking about that here regardless.
Sure. I feel like you're making a point that I'm missing.
I mean, it's just George Lucas. I don't know. Like we do episodes about
Yeah,
Indiana
yeah,
Jones.
yeah.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
do an episode about THX 1138 and
Oh,
American Graffiti.
oh, I love THX so much. Um, yeah.
Me
Yeah, I mean
too.
I think all of that
Speaking of which,
goes.
we are getting a 4K release of THX this year.
I know.
Um, I'm sure it's going to be the more recent cut.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is definitely George Lucas's preferred version, like the theatrical version. It's so funny hearing him talk about it, where I think THX sort of spoiled him on the studio system so much. THX and American Graffiti spoiled him on the studio system to the point where like they messed with his films so much that he was so uncompromising on Star Wars that that's why we don't have more films from George Lucas, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But when he talks about how like they messed with THX and American Graffiti where it was like I don't remember what interview it was in, and it might have been in the documentary Fog City Mavericks, but he was describing the way the studio cut footage out of both of those movies. Like, it's like they take your child and cut the tips of one of its fingers off.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's still your child and it can still function. Like, but one of the tips of its fingers is off. And they cut it just to show you that they could, not because they have any artistic intention behind. And it's just like how brutal an image he paints in your head of
Yeah.
how much they messed with it, and that the versions that he's been able to come up with of those two movies afterward, um, I don't think he'd ever deviate from them in subsequent releases.
Yeah. I can see that. That makes sense.
He doesn't want his kids' fingers chopped off.
I mean, it's still your kid. I'm just kidding. I don't feel that way. Um, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. No, those two movies are really good. Maybe we should do some episodes about those two movies on their own sometime. I love those movies so much.
Yeah. I have like deeper connection to THX, but they're both great.
And maybe I should save this for the episode, but do you have like what is it that makes THX deeper for you? Just saw it more or
No, no, I mean my reaction to it is just inherently stronger.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, the concepts behind it and the themes that are explored of like, loneliness and dealing with what's going on in your mind and trusting what that is versus what you have been told. Like that's all very fascinating to me. And I think that's stuff that a lot of people grapple with all the time. And that idea of like wanting to break out of what has perhaps felt like a very benign scenario, but slowly dawns on you as being a prison is just a really interesting concept to me. This is why
Yeah.
I love sci-fi stuff, right? Like it's very much in my wheelhouse of interest anyway. Like the it's so much more psychological, which I find very interesting and I'm very drawn to more so. I mean, American Graffiti is great, but I don't have the kind of like deeply moved reaction to it that I have to THX.
I think that a lot of the deeply moved reaction I have to American Graffiti is in so much of how it was made.
Right.
Um, there's so much groundbreaking stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't think people realize. Um, and there's so much innovation to it in so many ways that it's sort of like a low budget Citizen Kane of the 70s in a lot of ways.
I should also
Um,
say, like, I'm not a car guy.
I'm not at all either.
I don't
Like
care about car things.
none of that works on me, but yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, no, maybe we should plan those out for this year.
Okay.
Um, but we're out of time for our look ahead at 2026. If there's anything anybody thinks we should miss, they should email us. But I think we hit all of the big highlights of what we're gonna see.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a child who craves novelty, so there is part of me that hopes that we'll get some weird surprise announcement of something that's going to come out. We'll see. Maybe it will be, as you said, a May the 4th Tales of drop. This will be the first May 4th in years that I'm not going to Disney World for it.
How come?
Um, it's just I last year was not super fun for me. I mean, it wasn't like any one thing. It was just so hot. It really has gotten hotter and hotter. And so like it's very, very hot. It's very, very crowded. So there's not a lot that you're really able to do other than kind of hang out and go, wow, it's hot and crowded. I don't want to stand in lines for merch. Especially, this is a thing I've never understood. There will be lines for merch. And if you go online, like the Disney store has the same merch that you can just order and it can be waiting for you at home when you get there. So I never understand those. Um, yeah, it's just it's like the fun to pain in the neck ratio is not there anymore for me.
Fair, fair.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still go a bunch this year, just not that day.
Yeah.
Also, it falls on a Monday, which is a little awkward for me in terms of like my work schedule. So, it just doesn't quite add up.
Well, aside from not Disney World on May the 4th, where can people find you, Holly?
I am on Instagram as ShirleyGirly5, and I'm on Blue Sky as Holly Fry. And Stuff You Missed in History Class is still publishing 4 times a week if you count our classic episodes on Saturdays. I am still doing The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd on Friday nights on the History Channel. And I think that's most of my stuff that I have going on. There's a new show. I might know the name of it already. Next week I will mention it. I promise. How about you, Brian?
You can find me at swankmatron.com or on social media, Instagram, Blue Sky, wherever at swankmatron. Um, and yeah, I'm just doing this and writing all kinds of stuff. And I just had a couple of the new Tops Chrome and Chrome Galaxy sets of trading cards came out, and I wrote the backs of all of those, so that's pretty cool. And
Amazing.
yeah, just working and writing some stuff, so still just plugging away on some BattleTech stuff. And um, you can check my convention schedule. I've got 3 shows coming up next month, and one of those is in Denver with alongside Mike Stackpole, so that should be
Nice.
fun. Yeah. Um, as far as Full of Sith goes, you can go to fullofsith.com and check out the entire back catalog of episodes, and be sure to send us an email at holocron@fullofsith.com, and listen to, wherever you listen to the show, feel free to rate and review us. So thank you for listening. Holly, do you think there's anything else?
No, I think you've covered all the bases, sir.
Well, then, for super producer Mike Pilot and for Holly Fry, I'm Brian Young, and the Force will be with you always.
Sir, if you'll not be needing me, I'll close down for a while.